So, hello guys, this is day 2. Um, I apologize to be so late today. Um, and also getting another stream at such a late hour or after so long. I was busy with some other stuff, so it took me time to come back. Hopefully, I should be getting back. Again, I'm trying to stream at least once a week. And then slowly and steadily we can move ahead and go like 2 a week, 3 a week, 4 a week. But for now, this is what it is. It's hard for me to set up a routine, but I'm gonna try to do my best. So yeah, let's go. So today what I'm going to be doing is you may have read it in the title that I'm going to be using LangChain and Ollama to do some prompt engineering. I'm trying to learn some stuff for Gen AI, which will be how to do like prompt engineering and apply different prompt engineering techniques. Also, other techniques that we can apply to LLMs in order to like basically RAG techniques. So RAG is basically retrieval augmented generation. So yeah, that is what I'm going to be doing today. So for that, first what I'm going to do is create a new GitHub repository just to save my progress there. So yeah, I'm going to name it as exploring RAG techniques. All right, I think this is fine. Let me give it like a description. Exploring from prompt engine prompting guide .com. Public. I'll add a readme file which we can look at it later. Give an MIT license and create a repository. I already have SSH set up on my machine, so I can just use git clone and the SSH. Let me give my passphrase. So it's pull. Let me go to the directory. Exploring RAG techniques and we'll go to code. Alright, we have the license and the readme here. So before I begin, I'm going to add like a .gitignore so that we start including what files we need to ignore. Like for example, here I'm going to say Visual Studio Code directory. And give it a .vs code so that this folder is ignored for my git commits. Alright, then let's begin by opening promptguide.com. This is where I am going to be finding my, I think this, oh no, sorry, it's prompting guide. My bad. Let me just do a Google search first. Yeah, prompt engine, promptguide.ai. Alright, so let's read through it. So prompting is relatively new discipline for developing and optimizing prompts to efficiently use large language models for a wide variety of applications and research topics. Prompt engineering skills. I don't think you will be able to see. Let me just zoom a little bit. And I may have to move the chat window. Okay, I think this is fine. Yeah. Okay, let's begin from the start. So prompt engineering is a relatively new discipline for developing and optimizing prompts to efficiently use large models, language models, for a variety of applications and research topics. Prompt engineering skills help to better understand the capabilities and limitations of large language models. Researchers use prompt engineering to improve the capacity of LLMs on a wide range of common and complex tasks such as question answering and arithmetic reasoning. Developers use prompt engineering to design robust and effective prompt techniques that interface with LLMs and other tools. Prompt engineering is not just about designing and developing prompts, it encompasses a wide range of skills and techniques that are useful for interacting and developing with LLMs. It's an important skill to interface, build with, and understand capabilities of LLMs. You can use prompt engineering to improve safety of LLMs and build new capabilities like augmenting LLMs with domain knowledge and external tools. Motivated by the high interest of developing with LLMs, we have created this new prompt engineering guide. Okay, so this is just them mentioning that they have created this guide for us to explore also the techniques and basically create new prompts and use RAG techniques to apply to large language models. So let's go to the introduction. Let's go to the LLM settings. Let's not watch the video and then go ahead to what we need to set up here. When designing and testing prompts, you typically interact with LLM via an API. Yeah. So in our case, what we're going to be doing is interacting with the Ollama API, since we'll be using our local model from the local machine. You can configure a few parameters to get different results for your prompts. Tweaking these settings are important, right? So we're going to be looking at the settings which need to be tuned or tweaked in a short while. Below are the common settings that we need to tweak. Okay, so temperature. In short, lower the temperature, the more deterministic the results, in the sense that the hash probability next token is always picked. Okay, so basically what temperature is, it allows your model to be it raises the question of saying whether you want your model to be more creative, or do you want it to be very deterministic, saying if this is the word, this is the only word that is going to come after whatever the previous word was. So if the temperature is 0, basically lower temperature, it's always going to be deterministic or predictive. And if the temperature is 1, it's going to be more creative. There are upsides and downsides to this. You can use a lower temperature or like close to 0 if you want the model to be like answering just to your points, or always give the same answer whenever you put a question in front of it. This results in the AI only getting to like a few answers, and probably a few answers or just one answer for a particular question. And if the temperature is more towards 1, the AI is going to be creative. It's going to produce more like creative answers, probably you might have not thought of, or like these are the possibilities. But the downside is that the AI may be hallucinating. That means that the AI does not know what it's talking about. It does not have any idea. All right, let's go to the next setting, that is top P. So top P is another setting which we can provide to the AI in the system settings. So top P is basically the number of words, the top words that the AI is going to select out of the probabilities that it's going to calculate for the words coming after the previous word. So if we define top P as 10, it's going to determine the probability of all the words and just select the top 10 of the words. This goes along with temperature. So if you have top P set to 1, whatever temperature you set to doesn't matter. It's always going to select the first word because that's the only word that it has to play with. But if you have more words and So basically more words. By that I mean you have top P, for example 10, and you have temperature, for example 0.5. So it has a 0.5 chance of selecting a random word, any random word from the 10 options that it has. It will not choose any word beyond those 10 available words, right? The general recommendation is to alter temperature or P, but not both. See, that's what I said. If you these both go hand in hand, do not alter both of them. Either one is fine because they're going to be playing in your favor. Max length. You can manage the number of tokens that the model generates by adjusting the max length. Specifying a max length helps you prevent long or irrelevant responses and control costs. So basically, if you are running an API, if you're calling an Ollama, it's fine for you to make increase the max length, but that can lead to irrelevant responses. The control cost part comes into play when you're using a paid service like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, all of these available models which are online, and you have to pay credit upfront before you use them. Yeah, you obviously get free, I think some credit, but that is that may be used up more sooner than if you use a shorter length. Okay, stop sequences. A stop sequence is a string that stops a model from generating tokens. Specifying stop sequences is another way to control the length and the structure of the model's response. For example, you can tell the model to generate lists that do not have more than 10 items by adding 11 as a stop sequence. Okay, that's good. This is something new. Frequency penalty. Frequency penalty applies a penalty on the next token proportional to how many times a token has already appeared in the response and prompt. The higher frequency penalty, the less likely a word will appear again. This setting reduces the repetition of words in the model response by giving tokens that appear more a higher penalty. Okay, that's nice. Okay, this is something new that even I'm reading. The things that I knew, I already explained it to you about. But these are something new things, so I may not be able to describe what these things exactly are. Okay, let's move on to the other one. Presence penalty. The presence penalty also applies a penalty on repeated tokens, but unlike the frequency penalty, the penalty is the same for all repeated tokens. A token that appears twice and a token that appears 10 times are penalized the same. This setting prevents the model from repeating phrases too often in a response. Oh, okay. So this one penalizes so that a word is less likely to appear again, and this makes sure that the phrase does not appear again. If you want a model to if you want the model to generate diverse or creative text, you might want to use a higher frequency presence penalty, or if you need the model to stay focused, you try to use a lower presence penalty. Okay, all right. Basics of prompting. You can achieve a lot with simple prompts, but the quality of it. Just give me 1 second. Let's get back to basics of prompting. You can achieve a lot with simple prompts. I think we already went through this. A prompt can contain information like the instruction or question that you're passing to the model and include other details such as context, input, examples. You can use these elements to instruct the model to more effectively improve the quality of the results. This is a basic prompt. The sky is and the output is blue. Okay, if you're using the OpenAI playground or the other LLM playground, you can prompt the model as shown in the following screenshot. Okay. Where did... Oh, the sky is blue. Okay, got it. Alright. Something to note is that when using OpenAI chat models like GPT 3.5 Turbo or GPT 4, you can structure your prompt using 3 different roles: system, user, and assistant. The system message is not required but helps to set the overall behavior of the assistant. The example above includes only a user message which you can use to directly prompt the model. For simplicity, all of the examples except when it's explicitly mentioned will use only the user message to prompt the GPT 3.5 Turbo model. The assistant message in the example above corresponds to the model response. Okay, the assistant message in the to the model response. You can also define an assistant message to pass examples of the desired behavior you want. You can learn more about working with chat models here. Okay, we don't want to do that. This says the link is showing ChatGPT. We don't want to look into ChatGPT right now. We would be focusing on doing it on a local machine so that I don't spend any amount of money. And since I have a capable GPU, I can use it to my advantage. Okay, you can observe the prompt example from the above. The model responds with a sequence of tokens that made sense given to the context the sky is. The output might be unexpected or far from the task that you want to accomplish. In fact, this basic example highlights the necessity to provide more context or instructions on what specifically you want to achieve with the system. This is what prompt engineering is all about. Let's try to improve it. Okay, let's try to improve it a bit. So I think they gave the prompt with like an instruction what to do. So basically a context, what the prompt needs to do, something like that. So this is saying complete the sentence, the sky is. So since the prompt or since the AI model got like a context, what it needs to do, it generated, okay, the sky is. So these are the words that would likely appear after the sky is. So blue during the day and dark during the night. Wow, is that better? Well, with the prompt above, you are instructing the model to complete the sentence, so the result looks a lot better as it follows exactly what you told to do. Complete the sentence. This approach of designing effective prompts to instruct the model to perform a desired task is what's referred to as prompt engineering in this guide. Okay. Well, I kind of knew that. I'm just reading this for you guys so that prompt engineering is more, or prompting is more easier for you to understand. Okay, prompt formatting. You have tried a very simple prompt above. A standard prompt has the following format: question and a question mark, or an instruction. You can format into a question answering format, which is a standard in a lot of QA datasets as follows. So basically a question followed by an answer. In prompting like the above, it's also referred to as zero-shot prompting. Example, and that is you are directly prompting the model for a response without any examples or demonstrations about the task that you want to achieve. Some large language models have the ability to perform zero-shot prompting, but it depends on the complexity and the knowledge of the task at hand and the tasks the model was trained to perform good on. A concrete prompt example is as follows. What is prompt engineering? Okay, so this is basically a question that's given to the language model, like a way in which the prompt is given to a language model. Okay, with some of the more recent models, you can skip the queue part as it is implied and understood by the model as a question answering task based on how the sequence is composed. In other words, the prompt could be simplified as what is prompt engineering. Just remove the the Q colon part from that, and the model would be able to understand. Given the standard format above, one popular and effective technique to prompting is referred to as few shot prompting, where you provide exemplars, that is demonstrations. You can format few short prompts as follows. So basically a question and answer, a question and an answer. This might not be clear to you at first, but what you're trying to teach the model is how you need to answer that question, or what do you expect the answer to be. So this can also be taken as like, for example, let's go here and create a new file just for the understanding purpose. Let me just copy this from here and paste it. I don't think this is visible. I hope this is visible. Yeah, I think this size is visible to you. Let me close this. Okay, so what basically it means is, if you want so let's say the project that I'm working on currently, the personal expense manager, I'm going to be using this prompt engineering to actually ask my language model, my local language model from Llama, to basically categorize my expense or where I'm getting my income from. So what I can do is, in these few short prompts, I can train the model to I can train the model in what way do I want the answer. Just give me 1 second. Let me come back. Yeah. Okay. Sorry for getting away. Yeah. So I was saying, yeah. So you can train the model on how do you want to answer the questions. So yeah, I was saying, in my project, I'm going to be asking the model to categorize the transaction. So I have a few examples like groceries, fuel, rent, and all of those examples. So basically, in that case, what I would want is the AI to answer in one single word and not give me a sentence. So what I'm going to do is, basically, what is the category for food line, for example, here. I hope you guys are familiar with food line. If you guys are following from India, this is going to be very similar to DMart. Okay, so what is the category of food line? So I think what the answer that I'm expecting from the LLM is going to be groceries. So I will give the answer first. So this is basically, I'm giving the example of how I want the response to be given. What is the category for food line, right? Groceries. What is the category for Circle K? I don't know what you call it. You call it Circle K, or do you call it K Circle? I mean, I'm not so sure about that, but you see, it's gas or fuel. But in this case, let me keep it as fuel because it's much easier to understand. Fuel is not gas, it's liquid. Then the other question I would like to give is, what is the category for just to give an example, let me see, house. I think this will go under rent. It can depend on a house. If it's a house, then probably if you are owning a house, then it may go for mortgage, or EMI loan payment, or it can go for now let's keep it rent. And then suddenly if a question comes, what is the category for Walmart? So in this case, I'm teaching the AI beforehand what I'm expecting as an answer. It's basically just going to be a single word. So I'm expecting the AI also to respond in as a single word. So the response that I'm expecting should be groceries. Right. So this is basically few short prompting. That's basically what is going to be explained here. Right. Keep in mind that you are not required to use QF format. The prompt format depends on the task at hand. For instance, you can perform a simple classification task and give an exemplars that demonstrate the task as follows, right? As it is. So I think this is in case of a movie. If you're asking an AI for a movie or like for a review of the movie, this is awesome, this is bad, wow, that movie was rad, what a horrible show. These are probably a few responses that you're expecting from the AI. So this is awesome, saying this is a positive response. I think this is the question. I'm sorry, my interpretation was wrong. I think this is the question and this is the response from the AI. So this is bad, that's negative. Wow, that movie was rad is a positive response of a positive emotion of a user. What a horrible show. I think this is a negative. So that's how the AI replied. It knew this is the way that needs to be answered. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's read this before we go to the next one. Few short prompts enable in-context learning, which is the ability of language models to learn tasks given a few demonstrations. We discussed zero shot prompting and a few shot prompting more extensively. Okay, yeah, we can see here in the techniques they're going to be discussing it more intensively. Yeah. Let's go to prompt elements. As we cover more and more examples and applications with prompt engineering, you will notice that certain elements make up a prompt. A prompt contains any of the following elements: an instruction, a specific task or instruction you want the model to perform; context, external information or additional context that can steer the model to better responses; input data, the input or question that we are interested to find a response for; output indicator, the type or format of the output. To demonstrate the prompt elements better, here is a simple prompt that aims to perform a text classification. Classify the text into neutral, negative, or positive. Text: I think the food was okay. Sentiment: okay. So we're expecting a sentiment from this text. The food was okay. So the sentiment may be okayish. I mean, I don't know the exact word that can be put in, but yeah, mellow, maybe one of the sentiments. Okay. In the prompt example above, the instruction corresponds to the classification task. Classify the text into neutral, negative, or positive. The input data corresponds to the I think the food was okay part, and the output indicator used as sentiment. Note that this basic example does not use context, but this can also be provided as a part of the prompt. For instance, the context for this text classification prompt can be additional examples provided as a part of the prompt to help the model understand better the task, and model better understand the task and steer the type of outputs that you expect. You do not need all the 4 elements for a prompt, and the format depends on the task at hand. We will touch on these more concrete examples in the upcoming guides. General tip for designing prompts. Here are some tips to keep in mind while you are designing your prompts. Start simple. As you are starting with designing prompts, you should keep in mind that it is really an iterative process that requires a lot of experimentation to get optimal results. Using a simple playground from OpenAI or Cohere is a good starting point. You can start with simple prompts and keep adding more elements and contexts as you aim for better results. Iterating your prompt along the way is vital for this reason. As you read the guide, you will see many examples where specificity, simplicity, and conciseness will often give you better results. When you have a big task that involves many different subtasks, you can try to break down the task into simpler subtasks and keep building up as you get better results. This avoids adding too much complexity to the prompt design process at the beginning. The instruction. You can design effective prompts for various simple tasks by using commands to instruct the model what you want to achieve, such as write, classify, summarize, translate, order, etc. Keep in mind that you also need to experiment a lot to see what works best. Try different instructions with different keywords, contexts, and data, and see what works best for your particular use case and tasks. Usually, the more specific and relevant the context is to the task you are trying to perform, the better. We will touch on the importance of sampling and adding more context in the upcoming guides. Others recommend that you place instructions at the beginning of the prompt. Another recommendation is to use some clear separator like 3 pound signs to separate the instruction and context. For example, prompt. So the instruction is put between 3 pound signs. Translate the text below to Spanish. Hello. Output is hola. Okay. Specificity. Be very specific about the instruction and task you want the model to perform. The more descriptive and detailed the prompt is, the better the results. This is particularly important when you have desired outcome or style of generation you are seeking. There aren't specific tokens or keywords that lead to better results. It is more important to have a good format and a descriptive prompt. In fact, providing examples in the prompt is very effective to get the desired output in specific formats. When designing prompts, you should also keep in mind the length of the prompt, as there are limitations regarding to how long a prompt can be. Thinking about how specific and detailed you should be. Thinking what this line does not make sense to me. Never mind. Including too many unnecessary details is not necessarily a good approach. The detail should be relevant and contribute to the task at hand. This is something you will need to experiment a lot. That's true. We encourage a lot of experimentation and iteration to optimize prompts for your application. As an example, let's try a simple prompt to extract information from a piece of text. Extract the name of the place as follows. Desired format. Place, comma separated list of places. Input. Although these developments are encouraging to researchers, much is still a mystery. We often have a black box between the brain and the effect we see in the periphery, says Henry K. Vega Fernandez, a neuroimmunologist at the Champollion Center for the Unknown in Lisbon. If we want to use it in a therapeutic context, we actually need to understand the mechanism. Okay. So you want to extract the places. Guys, give me one moment. I'm going to be back. Hey guys, sorry for being away. So where were we? Yeah. Okay. So the basic idea of this prompt is asking the LLM to extract the name of the places, just comma separated. So here we can see two places, which is basically one place, I think, this in Lisbon. So it named whatever this name is for the unknown, comma Lisbon. Okay, that's true. Avoid impreciseness. Given the tips above that are being derailed, given the tips above about being detailed, and improving prompt, it's easy to fall into the trap of wanting to be too clever about prompts and potentially creating imprecise descriptions. It's often better to be specific and direct. The analogy here is very similar to effective communication. The more direct, the more effective the message gets across. For example, explain the concept prompt engineering. Keep the explanation short, only a few sentences. Don't be too descriptive. It's not clear from the prompt above how many sentences to use and what style. You might still somewhat get good responses with the above prompts, but the better prompt would be the one that's very specific, concise, and to the point. Okay. What we can do to um, um, see more about this is we can try it ourselves. I have my local web UI that is open. We can use that to check. Let me sign in, close this. I don't want to save it. Okay. So let's go ahead and copy these two prompts and see how the model answers the questions. So explain the prompt engineering, keep the explanation short, few sentences, don't be too descriptive. Let's select a model from the models that we have. Let's go with Llama 3.1. Let's go with Llama 3.1. Let's see what answer the model comes up from. Give it a few seconds because it's going to take a little while to start up, since the model is going to be loaded on my GPU. Give it a few moments. I think it should be up by now. Let's see my GPU. Okay, I think the model is in. Alright. Okay, prompt engineering refers to the process of creating specific targeted language inputs to elicit desired responses from model AI. Okay, and now let's create a new chat and ask the other question that we have is use 2 to 3 sentences to explain the concept of prompt engineering to a high school student. Now let's see how different the answer is from the previous answer. The reason that I'm not doing the reason that I'm not doing it in the same chat is this UI that I'm using, Open Web UI. It's going to give the model the previous context, the history, which I don't want it at the moment. I just wanted to answer very specific to my question, and I don't want it to remember the history, chat history that is going on. So prompt engineering is the process of carefully crafting questions or instructions that can elicit specific and accurate responses from AI models such as chatbots or language generators. I think it's generated a very similar answers in this case. There are a few differences here. You see, it's basically changed a few words here and there, but it's specifically giving it's giving the same response. It may also depend on the model that we're using. If it's a really large model, it can depend on what the output is. how can we use this in terms of getting an idea about how to edit resume? Can you give a proper prompt and demonstrate? Um, we would be doing that about resume, but in resume we would like to have like more prompt engineering techniques. What I'm trying to focus on in this in this stream is basically understanding what prompt techniques are, what prompt engineering basically is, and we're going to be going through what the techniques are and how you can implement it. I'm going to be implementing it through in this stream. But yeah, we can use this to edit resume. There are a ton of applications of prompt engineering. This is we'll be going through. So function calling, context caching, generating data, synthetic data for data sets, tackling generated data sets diversity. So these are a lot, like these are very tailored applications, but how to properly edit and resume is like more a general prompt engineering technique. Let me share the link with you guys for this. I'm going to share the main link with you. Let me go back and go to the same place where we were. Okay. I hope I answered your question. And we can come back to that later. Maybe give it a go on my own resume, and see how the AI changes the text, how it changes. The only thing that AI does is it's only going to change the text, but at the end, formatting is going to be on you, how you want your resume to look like, the template, and all of those things. So typically for a person who is a new grad, a new joinee, or who has somewhat less experience, less than 3 years of experience, it's advisable to keep the resume in a single page, concised in a single page. Yeah, for people who have more than 3 years, 5 years of experience, their resume tends to go to 2 pages and more than 2 pages, but it's a good practice to keep it in 2 pages. This happens because since they have been working for over 3 or 5 years, they have a lot of experience and they have to put it on their resume. After 5 years, what happens is you usually get into a good company, and then you can just a lot of the stake of getting you a new job is taken care of by just the name of the company and the designation. So you don't have to worry much about what content you put in, and that takes care of keeping it concise under 2 pages. Okay, yeah. I hope I answered the question, and let's get back to where we were. To do or not to do. Another common tip when designing prompts is to avoid saying what not to do, but say what to do instead. This encourages more specificity and focuses on the details that lead to good responses from the model. Here is an example. The following is an agent that recommends movies to a customer. Do not ask for interests. Do not ask for personal information. Please recommend a movie based on my interests. Okay, let's go see the output. Excuse me. Sure, I can recommend a movie based on your interest. What kind of movie do you like to watch? Do you prefer action, comedy, romance, or something else? Probably this is not what you would want. Let's see what the better prompt says. The following is an agent that recommends movies to a customer. The agent is responsible to recommend a movie from the top global trending movies. It should refrain from asking users for their preferences and avoid asking for personal information. If the agent does not have a movie to recommend, it should say, sorry, I couldn't find a movie to recommend today. And then the same question. Please recommend a movie based on my interests. Sorry, I don't have any information about your interests. However, here's a list of top trending global movies right now. List of movies. I hope you find something you like. See, I think this is a better answer than just asking what movies you want. At least in this case, the AI spit out some movies that the user can go through and um, see what his movies are. Probably this can be a better answer depending on what your use case is. Um, uh, so these cases can apply to where you actually want the user to be very specific in asking the question. Like let me think of let me think of some proper specific question that a user has to answer before the response to. Yeah. So for example, if I don't think the AI will be able to answer this question that I'm about to say. But the question is how I am staying in Charlotte and I want to get to, for example, say Raleigh. How would I go from Charlotte to Raleigh? That is my question to the AI. Probably the AI won't be able to respond to this, but what I would want the AI is to give me a follow-up question saying, how do you want to go? Do you want to go by road or flight or the other options that are available, like public transport, take a train, so and so. So yeah, this is one of the examples that I've immediately thought of. I know this AI may not be able to answer this or have an answer or even suggest a question like that, but this is just one answer, one example. All right, let's go to example prompts. So the previous section introduced the basic examples of how to prompt LLMs. This section will provide more examples of how to use prompts. Which example? Okay. The example you mean, or the one that I just asked? Yeah, we can do that. Let me create a new chat, and I stay in Charlotte. How do I get to Raleigh? Model not selected. I'll go with Llama 3.1 again. It's going to get loaded in the GPU once again, but this time it should be Oh, cool. So the AI knows how to answer this question, and it answered it pretty well. See, there are several ways to get from Charlotte to Raleigh, depending on your time, budget, and preferences. Here are a few options. The driving distance between Charlotte and Raleigh is approximately 120 miles. That is 193 kilometers, and takes about 2 hours via I-140E. Public transportation. You can take the Greyhound bus from Charlotte's Greyhound station to Raleigh's Greyhound station, with the journey time of 3 hours and fare starting at $20 to $30. Train. Amtrak offers. I'll just stop here, and I mean it's pretty clear that the AI is able to answer this. Probably where there is a personal preference involved, it'll ask a follow-up question. Right. Yeah. But you see, at the end, it did answer which option do you prefer. So let's go ahead and ask or give it a response saying, I would prefer driving. Okay. Driving is convenient and flexible way to get to Raleigh from Charlotte. Here are some additional details. Okay. Well, I think Llama 3.1 is doing a really great job. Yeah, it's really interesting. Are you ready to hit the road? I mean, I think it's trying to be a bit funny here. Oh, by the way, do you see it generated a title and it added a car emoji to Raleigh? That's pretty cool. All right. Um, let's get back to prompt engineering. This section will provide more examples of how to use prompts to achieve different tasks and introduce key concepts along the way. Often the best way to learn concepts is by going through examples. A few examples below illustrate how you can use well-crafted prompts to perform different types of tasks. Text summarization. Excuse me. Give me 1 second. Yeah. One of the standard tasks in natural language generation is text summarization. Text summarization can include many different flavors and domains. In fact, one of the most promising applications of language models is the ability to summarize articles and concepts into quick and easy to read summaries. Let's see. Explain antibiotics. I think it gave a big answer. Antibiotics are a type of medication used to treat bacterial infections, blah 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 blah. The answer is an explicit prompt. Definitely I use a lot of code generator. I think mostly LLMs like OpenAI, Claude, all of these LLMs are mostly used by people who are already in tech. Copilot even for that matter. People who are already tech use text generation a lot. We depend a lot on text generation. It depends on who we're talking about, but a lot of text generation is there for sure. Let's get back. A is an explicit prompt format that you use to use in a question answering. You use it here to tell the model that there is an answer expected further. In this example, it's not clear how this is useful versus not using it, but we will leave it that for later examples. Let's just assume that this is too much information and make it summarize it further. In fact, you can instruct the model to summarize it into one sentence, like so. So basically, what we did is we picked up the answer that the AI gave and gave it like an instruction. Explain the above in one sentence. Antibiotics are medications used to treat bacterial infections by either killing the bacteria or stopping them from reproducing, but they are not effective against viruses, and overuse can lead to antibiotic resistance. Oh, that was a pretty good summarization, I believe. Without paying too much attention to the accuracy of the output above, which is something we will touch in the later guide, the model tried to summarize the paragraph in one sentence. You can get clever instructions, but we will leave this for a later chapter. Feel free to pause and experiment to see if you get better results. You can do that later. We are going to be doing a lot of experimentations with all of these techniques. I'm going to be implementing these through my stream. It may not just be this stream. This may extend to more streams ahead, because this is a very huge topic, and I don't think I will be able to cover so much in one particular stream. I think I will be going to zero shot prompting and stopping it for today, and we'll be done for the day. In the next stream, I think we can continue from few shot prompting, chain of thought prompting, self-consistency, and all of those. We can give it a shot at the end of the stream. Maybe what we can do is let's not going to zero shot prompting today, and we'll just see the examples from the example prompts and just try it out ourselves and see what responses we get for probably our own data, and get an interpretation of how the LLMs perform on different prompts. All right. Thank you for the suggestion, Karthik. Let's move ahead. Information extraction. While While language models are trained to perform natural language generation and related tasks, it's also very capable of performing classification and a range of other natural language processing tasks. Here's an example of prompt that extracts information from a given paragraph. Author. Let's not read the entire paragraph. What we can read is just the last line. Mention the large language model based product mentioned in the paragraph above. The large language model based product mentioned in the paragraph of ChatGPT. Oh, I see. It's mentioned in the paragraph and it was successfully able to extract the LLM model which is used. Okay. There are many ways you can improve the results above, but this is already very useful. The other way that I see this can be used is if you just want one particular text, one particular word. I explained this in my example. Let me go back. Is this what is the category for food land, right? This was the example I think we looked at first. So what we want is just one category, that is groceries. One word answer. In this case, we can ask the prompt to do it that way, saying just mention in one word, or we can use one of the prompt technique, which is few short prompting. That this example is basically an example of few short prompting. Yeah, but by now it should be obvious that you can ask the model to perform different tasks by simply instructing it what to do. That's a powerful capability that AI product developers are already using to build powerful products. Right. Question answering. We have been looking at question answering throughout the stream. These are mostly what the AI are trained to do. Is if the question is asked, you need to answer that question. We can skip this for now because this is how basically all AI work or LLM models work. So we can just skip this. Text classification. This is also the same thing that we looked into, which is text classification. Give me 1 second. I'm getting a call. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah. Sorry for being away. Yeah. It's open here. Yeah. So coming back to this text classification, this is one of the text classification examples. It's the same example like this, but this can be converted to a text classification example in this way, saying that categorize the following expense into categories into the following categories. So we can give fuel, rent, groceries, etc. For now, just keep it like this. This list can go on and on and on, but yeah. So keep it like fuel, rent, and groceries. Even we can remove this, and what this means is the AI is going to restrict itself from answering to just fuel, rent, and groceries. So, for example, if we give what is the category for I don't know if you guys have there, but we can do AMC. It may not be able to respond correctly because AMC can come under the expense as entertainment, right? So this it may categorize as one of the fuel slash rent slash groceries. We do not know that right now. We can try it out later at the end of the stream, like before we end the stream. Okay. So yeah, this is like basically text classification. We're just asking the AI to classify the expense as one of these categories, right? I think I've made you guys understand it pretty well. Let's go to conversation. Conversation. Perhaps one of the more interesting things that you can achieve with prompt engineering is instructing the LLM system on how to behave, its intent, and its identity. This is particularly useful when you are building conversational systems like customer service chatbots. For instance, let's create a conversational system that's able to generate more technical and specific responses to questions. Note how you are explicitly telling it how to behave through the instruction. This sometimes refers to as role prompting. Role prompting, and also sometimes called system prompt. It's basically you define how the system or the AI should behave. So, for example, the following is a conversation between AI and research assistant. The assistant tone is technical and specific. So, the first question is, how are you? Greeting, I am an AI research assistant. How can I help you today? So the question that we are asking is, can you tell me more about the creation of black holes? Sure, black holes are regions of space-time where the gravitational force is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape from it. They are created when very massive star dies and it collapses, and its core collapses on itself, forming a singularity of infinite density. Well, you can see that the answer that the AI gave, it's very technical. What if we give it this prompt? AI research assistant. The assistant answers should be easy to understand even by primary school students. So let's see. I think it's the same question. Let's see what the answer is. Black holes are created when a very massive star runs out of fuel and collapses on itself. The gravity of the star is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. This creates a point in space-time with an intense gravitational force called a black hole. I think we can make the answer a bit better. This still has like a few words that a primary student may or may not understand. Maybe I'm underestimating what a primary student knows already. But yeah, if we can go to like pre-primary or explain it to a layman, maybe the answer may be a bit different. Let's see. The next one, code generation. One application where LLMs are quite effective is code generation. I think this is this is one of the most used applications of LLMs is to generate code, and I think you already mentioned that, Karthik. Copilot is a great example of this. There are vast number of code generation tasks that you can perform with clever prompts. Let's look at a few examples below. First, let's try a simple program that greets the user. Ask the user for their name and say hello. I think this is some kind of tags that you provide to the AI saying that you're expecting a code output. Let's see. Let name equal to prompt. What's your name? Console.log. So I think by default it generated a JavaScript code to ask for a name and display it. um, yeah, notice that you didn't even need to specify a language to use. Yeah, and it picked up JavaScript of all. Let's switch levels a bit. The example below shows how powerful LLMs can be with a little more effort in designing the prompts. So basically we're giving two tables, departments and students. So table departments has column department ID and department name. Table student has columns where department ID, student ID and student name. Create a MySQL query for all students in the computer science department. Select student ID, student name from students, where department ID in, select department ID from departments where department name equal to computer science. That's a pretty good SQL query. Yeah, this is impressive. In this case, you provided data along with the database schema and asked to generate a valid MySQL query. Reasoning. Perhaps one of the most difficult tasks for an LLM today is one that requires more form of reasoning. And that's very true. AI do suffer in reasoning, which is why we have not been able to use it very efficiently for other tasks. I apologize. Yeah. Reasoning is one of the most interesting ideas due to the types of complex applications that can emerge from LLMs. There have been some improvements in tasks involving mathematical capabilities. That said, it's important to note that current LLMs struggle to perform reasoning tasks, so this requires even more advanced prompt reasoning techniques. We will cover these advanced techniques in the next guide. For now, we'll cover a basic few examples to show arithmetic capabilities. What is 9,000 times 9,000? It gave 81 million. Let's try something more difficult. The odd numbers in this group add up to an even number. The answer. No, the odd numbers in this group add up to an odd number. That's incorrect. Basically, the odd numbers need to add to the even number. That's right. The odd numbers in the group. Okay, the new prompt. Let's improve the prompt. The odd numbers in the group add up to an even number. Solve by breaking the problem into steps. First, identify the odd numbers, add them, and indicate whether the result is odd or even. So it identified the odd numbers, it gave out a sum, and 41 is an odd number. Much better, right? By the way, we tried this task a couple of times and the model sometimes fails. If you provide better instructions combined with examples, it might help get more accurate results. In the upcoming section, we will cover even more advanced prompt engineering concepts and techniques for improving performance on all these and more difficult tasks. All right. So they have already provided a notebook. Let's see what's there in the notebook. Oh, okay. I think it's the same notebook that we have. I mean, we can just do all of this in our own interface that we have instead of going through the notebook here. But you guys suggest, what should I do? Should I just download the notebook and use it, or do you want me to do it individually on the interface on OpenWeb UI? Okay, I am not getting any response. Okay, Web UI. All right, let's go with Web UI. Let me create a new chat. I'm actually going to delete all of the previous chats. Delete. Okay, yeah, new chat. I think, okay, let's go with a new chat, and let's go back to the guide and see what we can do from here. So examples prompt. Okay, explain antibiotics. So it explained antibiotics. I think this is the text summarization problem. What we can ask the AI to do, can give me a topic on what we should what we should experiment on. Give me a topic. That we actually figured out one of the topics, right? Reasoning, but I don't think we should go ahead with like asking AI about reasoning when it itself is bad at reasoning. that will be pretty ironic. Anti-plagiarism with AI. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to the web UI and go with explain anti-plagiarism with AI. Oh, I again forgot to select the model. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. We're almost towards the end of it, so just bear with me for a couple more minutes. Is the entire response visible to you guys, or I think I'll move the chat window a little towards inside. Yep. Okay, I think the answer is visible to you now. Yeah. Let me also just zoom into my browser so that, or what I can do is I can move this chat window. Oops. I can move this chat window on the other side. Yeah. What's wrong? I don't know what's wrong with my camera. Oops. Where are you looking, my boy? Could you come back to me? Let me check what's wrong with my camera. Come back to me, mother. I don't know, there's something wrong with the camera. Why is it going towards the other side? I think what the problem was, but I think it's solved. Okay, I think this is much better. Okay, let's go. My God, it gave such a long answer. I think I'm going to be tired by the end of this answer. Anti-plagiarism, also known as plagiarism detection or plagiarism checking, is the process of identifying and preventing instances of plagiarism in written work. With the advent of artificial intelligence, anti-plagiarism has become more effective and efficient and effective. Do you want me to read all of this? Funny thing, ask AI to check if something is generated with the AI. Yeah, we can do that. Let's yeah, we can do that. First, let's I'll keep a note of that. Let's generate the summary of this. I'm not pretty sure if it's going to be able to answer it in one sentence. But let's see. We can just ask it, explain the above in one sentence. Let's see what response it gives to this. Yeah, Karthik, we'll come back to asking the AI if it's generated with AI. Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it the same text from above back to it, asking whether it was generated by AI. It will be funny to see what the answer is. Why is it taking? Oh, I know now why it's taking so long. I did not break the AI. The problem is I'm running the AI and my NVIDIA broadcast on the same GPU. So I probably broke my GPU, guys. Just to give you an example, this is what is happening currently on my GPU. Yeah, I know it's a small GPU, but that's all I can do with it. Yeah, we can actually get around this by stopping. Let's stop. I think it's stuck. Let's do one thing. Delete this. Go to a new chat and we can select a smaller model. I have to check which model is smaller. I think it's going to be a bit problematic. I'll have to probably stop and restart my server again. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry, guys. You have to see this. So I'm going to stop my Docker container and start it again. And I probably will have to start Ollama again as well. So let's see. Okay, I think it's much better now. Let me turn off the fans. And yep, I think we should be back up. Yeah. Yeah, let's get back to using localhost. Okay, new chat. What was it? Explain. Wait, let me first find out the size of each model. Since I'm using Ollama, I can go here, models, and let me check first which models I have in my list. DeepSeek Coder is pretty large. Gemma 2. I think Gemma 2 is a smaller model. 9B Instruct Q6K. 9B Instruct Q6K. 7.6 gigabytes. I think Llama 3 is the smallest of all. Let's do one thing. Instead of doing it here, I think Mistral Nemo is small. Yeah, Mistral Nemo is small. You can use that. Explain anti-plagiarism with AI. I think this is an error only on Windows. Because when I use this model on my Linux, it works fine. Maybe let me see what I can do. Is my Ollama running on Ubuntu? I think since my Ollama is running on Windows, this is creating a problem. Let's drop the idea and um, go directly to ChatGPT. So go try ChatGPT. Okay, yeah, we have a GPT-4o mini for now. Yeah, explain AI anti-plagiarism. Okay, I'm not going to go through the answer because I've already wasted a lot of time. I'm directly going to ask it to explain it in a single sentence. Explain the above. I'm going to get the same prompt. Single sentence. Anti-plagiarism uses with AI uses advanced algorithms to analyze and compare text against a vast database to determine similarities, ensuring originality and proper citation in written content. I hope this is actual summary. I mean, I know there's a lot more detail here, but I think it summarized it pretty well in a single sentence. The answer that you're receiving, it may vary vastly depending on what model you're using. So currently, since on ChatGPT, I'm using GPT-4o mini. It can change if we have a 3.5. It can change if we have a 4, so on and so forth. I mean, you already did see when I ran it with the other model, my Llama 3B, on my local machine. It performed pretty well. So yeah, it gave a different answer than now. All right. So that's for this part. Let's go to information extraction. Author contribution, blah blah blah. Mention the large language model based product mentioned in the paragraph above. What we can do is go back to ChatGPT and see if you can ask it to extract text classification, was it? Where is it? Yeah, information extraction. So let's ask to extract the bullet points from this. Extract the bullet points from the explanation. Extract that. I'll ask it to just get the title out of the bullet points. Wow, see, it was able to extract the title of the bullet points very efficiently and very quickly for us. Text analysis, pattern recognition, cross-referencing, context understanding, reports and recommendations, and continuous learning. Okay, let's go to the other one. Information extraction, question answering. Okay, answer the question based on the context below. Keep the answer short and concise. Respond unsure about answer if I'm not sure about the answer. I'm just going to pick the same question and let's see what GPT answers it. What is OKT3? Traces its roots to a New Jersey drug company called Ortho Pharmaceutical. Their scientists generated an early version of an antibody dubbed OKT3, originally sourced from mice. Okay, so it was able to answer the question from based on the previous context. I don't think it will be able to answer if we do not give it the context. I am not able to edit it here. Let me do one thing. Let me refresh. I don't think it should be available to me anymore. So what I'm going to do is just remove the context and see if the GPT is able to answer. Oh, it was able to answer this probably because it already has an idea. It was trained on this information, so it has an answer to this question. Mice. Who is Uncle Roger? Is that a question for me or for me to ask to the AI? Let's ask it. Let me refresh this and ask, who is Uncle Roger? Uncle Roger is a comedic character created and portrayed by Malaysian comedian Nigel Ang. The character is a middle-aged Asian man with a strong accent and traditional views, often used to satirize stereotypes about Asian culture. Uncle Roger became popular on YouTube for his humorous reaction videos. I think. Hi, this is very iconic, and yeah, it's really fun to watch his videos. I mean, the way he makes fun or like removes few issues or from problems with the recipes that people cook. I think especially his target is I'm not going to name that person, but all of the guys who follow Uncle Roger pretty much know who he specifically targets. Let's refrain from going to a different direction and come back to our experimentation. So the other one is text classification. So this example we already looked at. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it the same question. A serious question. Is bit updated with live data though? I'm not sure I understand the question, but I think what you mean is chat GPT, is GPT updated with live data? Right? Is that what your question is, Karthik? Okay. Yeah, I think I understand the question. My understanding of the question was correct. No, it's not updated with live data. ChatGPT actually has to go under a long and an extensive training process, and it takes a lot of time, sometimes months, to train GPT. And it takes more than months even to collect the data for training, or probably get the data in the proper format for training. As far as my knowledge, if you want to train ChatGPT, you need the data in the format of a question and an answer, since it's going to be a conversational type. So what is going to happen is you are going to ask questions and it's going to answer you back. So to train the model, the expectation of the data is you give question to the chat GPT, it's going to respond to your questions in a particular way, and then with our given answer it's going to retrain or change or update the weights of the model. Chat 4.0 is the most accurate and powerful model, I guess. 4.0 is not the most accurate. It falls behind from GPT-4 Turbo. 4 Turbo is the most accurate, and I don't know about being accurate, but 4 Turbo is the powerful model. Claude 3.5 is gaining a bit of traction now. after the recent update. Perplexity is also there in the same game. Perplexity has an edge since it uses the internet for search. So you can say it has kind of the latest information, but since it's picking up from the internet, it has it's probably not trained on those, but it's using the websites as a context to answer your questions. Yeah, Claude is good for writing. Claude is also recently I've heard is Claude is also good for coding. So if you want a coding question answered, you can use Claude. Perplexity is a lot useful when you want like very accurate, not accurate I would say, but responses on recent data sets or very recent data or updates that you have. Okay, let's get back to our experimentation. So we're going to ask GPT to categorize. Basically, text classification is what we're going to be testing now. So let's give GPT the same question that we have. Would be groceries. So this is text classification. So it said groceries. So what we can do is we can give it. So this is basically zero shot prompting. So even before we reached zero shot prompting, we already know what zero shot prompting is. Let's give AI, or let's use the technique few shot prompting. Let's give the AI a few examples. So for example, we just pick up from here and we'll stop before Walmart. Let's pick it up and go back here, refresh it, paste. Okay. And before I send it, I'll just write answer here. It still did not respond in the way that I want to. So this is one thing that we can do in stream, is see what change, if we change something in the prompt and how does it work. So I'm going to refresh it, paste it, and what I'm going to do is probably write answers in front of all of them, and just going to copy this, paste it here, and category for Walmart. It's not able to answer it. This is a live failure on my stream. Let me put an answer here and let's see how it answers now. Thanks for trying ChatGPT. I don't think. Stay locked out. Why is it not answering in the way that I want? Maybe if I give it or say it explicitly to answer with just the category. Yeah, I was able to answer. Okay, so basically what we demonstrated is specificity, is specifically saying what we expect from the AI, and it was surely able to answer that. Let's try this one, code generation. This is something I'm seeing for the very first time. So let me refresh this, paste, and instead of asking the ask the user for the name and say hello, I'm going to say ask the user for a number and generate the Fibonacci number for that index. Yep. So it gave us a reply with the solution, with the code, and also the explanation of what it's doing in the code. I think Fibonacci number question is a really basic question for uh, programming. Everyone, I think, knows about Fibonacci number, or the Fibonacci series to be specific. We are not going to be trying reasoning because we can do that in a later section. But I think this is all for today. In the next stream, I think we're going to continue with zero shot prompting, few shot prompting, and see where until where we can head to. Hopefully, I am expecting until at least until um, let's see. Let's give it a few look. Chain of thought. Okay. Um. Yeah. Let's see if we can do chain of thought, self consistency, and see where we end up going to. All right. I'm going to. So I think this is all for this stream. I will be seeing you guys in the next stream. Have a good day. Have a good night wherever you're located. It was nice having a stream today. All right. See you guys. Take care.